is Lakisha Haskins or Lakisha Tibbs or Lakisha Haskins Tibbs or whatever you choose to call me. My daycare kids call me Miss Keisha. I'm from College Park, Maryland. I have a home daycare. I have a virtual academy. I have an in-person academy. And I also do tutoring. I do sip and paint. I design shirts and tumblers and a ton of different swag. At the end, you guys, please remind me, I have a code for you guys. If you need something branded for your businesses, there is a code that I have input in my Shopify website that you guys will automatically get 15% off of every purchase. And as long as you're a member of All Stars, you can use that code to be able to purchase what you need, and you can email and get your customized items to continue branding your business. A lot of you know, like for me, if it's not something that I made, I'm not gonna wear it, with the exception of stuff like this that I don't make. Otherwise, I'm not gonna wear anybody else's name or brand on me unless it's a business that I am promoting. So, after that lovely announcement, we'll get back to the beginning. So, I have kids of my own, and I traveled here with my kids. Yesterday was a fun yet stressful day for me. My 16-year-old is high-functioning autistic. All my kids are asthmatics. 2 of my kids have a ton of allergies, and we went to Sedona, we went hiking, and my son got sick. I think he was dehydrated because he didn't listen. He's 14, go figure. So he was laid out on the concrete, vomiting, couldn't walk, and I just was like, okay, well, just lay there, you'll be okay in a few minutes. And you know, he was fine after a while. We called Aunt Jelly, and she walked us through what to do. We gave him, set him in a cool tub or whatever, and he had cucumbers and waters, and he kept him hydrated. And then towards the end of the night with Joy, he texted me and was like, hey mom, just letting you know I'm okay now, I'm all good, I'm a little hungry. So it didn't last long, but I was worried, and I felt I was being hard on myself because I was at the mastermind, and I was torn because I felt like I should have been there with my son. I had my 20-year-olds there with my son, and I had Jelly on standby in case I needed her to rush to our resort to get him because he also is asthmatic. And so I just, you know, was worried and in my feelings, and I came in because I needed guidance and help, and I went on this journey saying that I was going to not carry so much and be open to things. And so I appreciate you guys, the ladies that were there last night. If I seemed like I just wasn't present, things have been funny and stressful to say the least in my life. So I'm gonna be super vulnerable for a second before I jump into why I'm doing what I'm doing and how I do what I do. So when I met Joy, I had already had my home daycare. My home daycare has existed since 2012. I already had my virtual academy. However, I hadn't done too much with it because I didn't believe in myself enough. I played around with other daycares, helping them do things, but never charged anybody because I didn't think I was worth it to charge them. Because I don't have a master's degree. I don't have a bachelor's degree. I just have a blind student in my class and kids in my program that have catheters and trachs, and you know, I have kids with medical things and I have a medical background, but I'm no teacher, and I have only just homeschooled my kids for the last 8 years, but I didn't feel qualified, so I didn't charge. So I struggled with all of those things, being a single parent, needing to figure out how to take care of my children because I didn't go into parenthood single. However, it ended up that way for whatever reason, but I know that God builds us for what he needs us for. And so whatever I walked through, I was supposed to, and I was ready for it. I just didn't know it. So it was stressful, whatever, and I struggled with things for a moment, and I came across Joy's ad, saw the book, read the book, flipped through a couple of pages and was like, I don't know, maybe not. I already have a daycare. I think I'm doing good enough. And because sometimes we inadvertently are told, you're already doing enough, you don't need to do more, I set myself back because that's what I heard. I didn't have a lot of family that believed in anything that I did. They felt like I was home playing with my kids and just playing with other people's kids. They didn't think that I was doing any of the things that I was doing. And so I didn't have the belief that I felt like I needed. I later learned that it's perfectly okay to clap for yourself, that it's so important to cheer yourself on every moment of every day, of everything that you do. Every achievement is an amazing achievement. And so I had to teach myself these things and undo some of the stinking thinking that I had. I still have a ways to go. So during this process, I was diagnosed with bone marrow cancer. And a week ago, I was just diagnosed with hemochromatosis, which is borderline liver failure. So when you see me looking blah, it's because I haven't quite processed this information that's been given to me. But I know that I'm supposed to keep going, so I'm here, because I'm going to keep going. So after getting Joy's book and kind of skimming through, if I could be completely honest, just skimming through, reading bits and pieces of this and that, but already in my head saying, I already have a daycare. I don't need her to teach me how to get a preschool. But there was something from Joy that I needed that all of us need, and we sometimes don't realize that we need, and it's this. This is what I needed. I already have my programs. I already knew how to bring other women along. I already knew how to teach other women. I already knew how to connect with other women, but I needed it for myself. I was something for everybody else, but never anything for me. And there was never anybody there behind me to be there for me. It was just me. And so I joined All Stars because I needed this sisterhood. I needed a connection to where I could vent and feel safe and be able to say, hey, Quinn, can we talk about this? Hey, Auntie Jelly, can the kids do this? Can they visit you? Can we talk about this? By the way, my kids think Jelly is like a superstar. They got autographs from her. She's got her own fan club. And to reach out to Beth and talk to Beth on the side, because my daughter is high-functioning autistic, and Beth is her superhero. And so she's 16, and she's excited to be able to do amazing things because she sees Beth do amazing things. Yes. And so to be able to see this family that I didn't know was supposed to be here for me, and to be able to grow my family and build my family while being a part of a family is what my purpose is. So now that we're past all that fun stuff, my home daycare is open from 6 in the morning till midnight. My virtual academy offers tutoring. I homeschool my children. I have 20 other students that I homeschool. Some of them are in person, some of them are around different states. I have a homeschool student here in Arizona that I actually tried to link up with while we were here, but due to his poor behavior, he got in trouble and we couldn't connect, but that's neither here nor there. So I have kids in Texas, I have kids in Alabama, I have students in Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina. My preschool programs are the same. So I am the one, I don't know if you guys have seen some of the videos, I teach preschool within my program. However, I also teach preschool in other childcare centers while I'm teaching preschool within my program. And I have several preschool programs that are connected to me for that. Some of them are home daycares, several of them are centers. Some of them are contracting me to do it quietly for whatever reason, and whatever works for them, I don't care, as long as I'm able to help their program and I'm able to financially help myself, then I'm good on it either way. So, and I call it blind teaching, meaning I do videos for them. They tell me, hey, this is what our theme is. I create the videos, I create the curriculum kits and boxes for them, I mail it to them, and they pay me. Some of my families pay me $880 a month per student. My homeschool students pay me $8,800 for the year for each homeschool student. I have 20 homeschool students. 2 of them are mine, so I don't pay myself for them. But so they pay that for the year for those students, and they have an option of those students connecting with me during the summertime. However, during the school year, that's what I'm being paid to do what I do. My ultimate goal is to buy some land and build what I want, because one of my other issues is my landlord is money hungry. And because my income is a 6-figure income, he feels like I should make his income a 6-figure income. So yeah, so that's my other heavy burden struggle that I'm dealing with. But I also know that at the end of the day, I'm gonna be okay, because I've always been okay, and that whatever I'm walking through, I'm supposed to just do that, walk through it. I'm not supposed to sit in it. So I try not to stress, but again, I just was given a gut blow last week that I haven't quite processed. So if you see me over the weekend and I'm looking blah, I'm just having a moment. The girls yesterday mentioned that it kind of looked like burnout. It's not, I'm overwhelmed as hell. Pardon my language. That's what it is. You know, I haven't really processed a lot of things because there is no other person in the house. It's me. It's me and my kids. I'm mom, I'm dad, I'm the janitor, I'm the nurse, I'm the doctor, I'm the teacher, I'm the grocery shopper, I'm Uber Eats. I drive Uber on the side also. So I do whatever I can do to make money aside from selling my body. Whatever I can do that's safe and not going to put me in jail or diminish my self-esteem and self-love is I'm game for it if it's going to make sure that I can do what I want. Along this process of me running my programs, my children have seen us start from nothing. And you guys, if you have kids at home, I promise you, talk to them, show them, let them see you stressed and upset, appropriately now, not crazy, but they need to see these things. These are lessons that our parents didn't teach us that we needed. There's so many things that we could have avoided and so many paths that we could have chose differently had we experienced the things that our parents thought they were helping us from, and they shielded us. And then we had to go through it because we didn't know any better. So I'm super open with my kids about everything. I talk to them all the time. My kids are really respectful. Me and Jelly sit on the phone for hours, and she hears my kids come in and out of the room, and we talk. We are a happy family. They come in and they say whatever they feel, and we have conversations about it. We have really deep conversations, and they know that I respect them as a person, not as you're my kid, you do what I say. No, I respect you as a person. But that means so much. But my kids have seen me build something from nothing. I moved to Maryland in 2012 with my children and divorce papers and custody papers. I didn't have a car, I had nothing. I lived in my best friend's basement. I had nothing but my kids, and I told my husband, I just want my babies. You can have everything else, just give me my babies. And I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna pray us through it, and we're gonna be all right. And now, I'm perfectly okay, I'm still standing. And things have happened. I was illegally evicted in the middle of my program, and I kept going that same year because Maryland, they do crooked stuff. If any of you live in PG County or you're thinking of moving there, don't. It's not a good choice. So we experienced an illegal eviction in the middle of my daycare program running, and I messaged Joy about it, and we talked about it, and Joy gave me some ideas and some things that I could do to keep going. And again, I'm still standing. My kids experienced these things with me, and we kept going. My 20-year-olds have built their first LLC. So my drama club that I somewhat created, like I created a drama club, a tutoring program in coding and robotics, and I created these programs because, again, I was diagnosed with bone marrow cancer, and I panicked. And I said, I gotta create something for my kids because our parents leave us with bills, and I don't wanna leave that for my kids. I wanna leave them with something. I wanna teach them how to put their businesses in trust so that they're okay, so that when something happens, the state can't touch them. The government can't do anything to them. But this is education that I had to go out and seek on my own because no one was giving it to me. And so now we're in the process of getting all of these LLCs put into trust and appropriately separating ourselves from them the right way, not the illegal way that's gonna get you landed in jail, but the right way so that you're okay and your business is safeguarded. But there's so much learning that has to be done with that. But my 20-year-olds own a drama club. They have a play July 12th that they're gonna be doing, and this is their second production. And they've been running this drama club for 2 years. Oh, July 15th. My bad. Good job, Auntie. And they'll be doing that in DC. If anybody is in that area, it'll be in DC that they'll be doing that. And my daughter writes the plays. She's a playwright. So when Joy was going over this whole life thing, I heard it before because my daughter writes things on the basis of this. When she's doing monologues and scripts and playwrights, this is the model that they use. However, I never thought about applying this to our life, and I felt like that was so super informative. So I'm excited to get that, and to share it with my daughter and let her know, hey, look, you already know this, and now flip it and switch it and pivot and do it this way, and apply it to your life. Anyways, my 16-year-old at the end of this school year, we'll be forming her LLC. She's doing language and arts, not language arts. She draws amazingly, and she's really into different languages. And so her LLC will be a language and arts program. My 14-year-old, he's got some growing to do. But when he's ready, we have a coding and robotics program for him that we will create into an LLC. And then they all will have hands on my tutoring company. They all will have hands on my academy, which does my homeschool and my own small programs. And they all will have their hands on my home daycare, and which all of those are their own LLCs, and they all can do whatever they want with my t-shirt business. I don't care. So, however, the way to get your programs into other programs, I know I've received probably about 50 different messages from Girls and All-Stars, which is perfectly okay because I love to help people. You have to present it in a way that it's gonna be something for someone. At the end of the day, all daycares and home daycares have a curriculum that they are required to follow. I write my own curriculums. I'm not gonna pay for their curriculums because I write my own. I've never purchased their curriculums, and I go back and forth with the state every year because they are the ones that have told me I'm not good enough. However, the children that leave my preschool programs test into these private schools on a first grade level. They're reading and doing sign language and doing Spanish and doing all these things on a first grade level, and some of them are autistic. And some of them, they didn't come into my program talking, they were nonverbal. And so they're just reaching things that people never thought, but it's because we're not teaching the cookie cutter way. Houses are for the cookie cutter image. Children are not. You have to be able to meet them where they are and bring them to where you want them to be. And until you figure that out, whether you're a teacher or in your program, those are the things that are gonna cause you to struggle. That's why people in the daycare industry are stressed, because they're doing things based off of what feels good to them or what's easy, but they're forgetting the most important thing are the kids. If we can reach them where they are and we can teach them to get them where the state wants them to be, then we'll all be okay and it'll be a much happier process. Like I can't sing, you guys, and I'm not going to, so don't worry. But I sing and dance with my kids, and like Jelly said, they're super forgiving. They don't care that I can't sing. Hey, to them, I'm the best singer out there and the best dancer, and I am Hispanic and don't have rhythm. So there we have that. But we do a lot of singing, we do a lot of dancing, we do a lot of engagement. I am a realist when it comes to my homeschool students. So we talk about real life things. I am a big energy person, and so I read the room and I pick up energy, and I do the same thing in my programs. When I'm talking to a program that I'm trying to contract with, first, you want to know what their problem is, because if you can solve a problem, then you're in there. If you are coming to be a part of the problem, nobody wants that. And so when I am talking to home daycares, everything that I do, I remember to be who I needed. At whatever point in life, I am who I needed at that moment. As a single mom walking through a divorce, for my children, I needed to be present, because when my mom was walking through a divorce, she shipped us off to my aunt to take care of while she mentally healed from that, and I didn't understand that. So for me, going through it, just give me my babies. You know, as a daycare provider, when I have daycare families that are going through divorces, or that I see they're arguing or they're frustrated, or the kids are showing signs that things at home are not happy, you know, there's something going on even though no one is saying that, I am who I needed. As that little kid, I needed somebody to talk to my parents and say, hey, are you fighting in front of your kids? You probably shouldn't do that. Maybe you guys should go on a date. Maybe you should go and remember why you fell in love and decided to start a family anyways. Yeah. And so my program is open till midnight every day because I am being who I needed. And while some people feel like that's overwhelming or that's too much, I promise you ladies, if you walk in your purpose every day, it's not exhausting. I'm exhausted because of these other little things that are going on, because I'm almost to the end of the line. And that's perfectly okay. But my exhaustion is not overwhelming because of all the different things that I'm doing. I'm walking in my purpose with those things. I'm so excited to be able to do all the things that I do. And the minute you walk in your purpose, I promise you, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna know it, and it's gonna feel so rewarding, so different. It's almost like things are heavy right now because they're just heavy, because sometimes in life that happens. But I feel so light and so at ease walking in my purpose. I haven't worked a job for anybody since 2010. Nobody can tell me anything. Yeah. And unfortunately, sometimes that looks a little different, and I have unintentionally built up a wall, and I do shut things down quickly. However, once I see that you mean well, then I slowly let you in. But I have had to be who I needed for me as well, because I am a single parent, and I do have to protect myself and my kids. And so initially, I block you. And then once I see, oh, this is safe, this is okay, then I respond differently. And that's something that I'm working on. That's that healing and that, you know, self-help and self-love and all that fun, lovely stuff that we all probably need to work on. I'm still working on all that. However, everything with my program, whether I am trying to enroll a client, whether I'm trying to enroll a company, because again, I have home daycares and I have daycare centers in my program. I also have other homeschool programs or co-op programs or whatever they choose to call themselves that have partnered with my program because I write curriculums. When I write a curriculum, it's $150 for that curriculum. I also do testing on those kids. It's $75 per child that I test per subject. And so I also sit for the IEP and IFSP meetings within the school system. So for my academy, it really depends on what they're contracting me for, but everything has a price, nothing is free. I love my kids, I love their families, but I want to be able to support my family and not be on the side of the street holding up a sign either. So I do charge them. I provide diapers and wipes for my families. I provide all the meals. We don't do jar baby food. I cook the baby food, I make it and freeze it for them. I braid my children's hair, boys and girls. I do their hair, I keep their hair done, but again, I charge for all of these things. Some of my children spend weekends with me. These parents love me and trust me. They go out of the country and their kids are there with me. They go away to weddings. They go away to their honeymoons and they go away to figure out why they fell in love because they're on the verge of divorce. Yeah. They have come to me crying, saying, Miss Keisha, you saved my marriage. I don't think that you know that parents' night out that you gave us last week, we needed that more than anything in that world because he just handed me divorce papers. And we got a set of autistic twins. What am I supposed to do with 2 nonverbal autistic twins and then 2 school agers that don't listen? And I can't go back home to mom. So because she's violent and I don't want my kids to be raised like that, I need this marriage to work out. And so we have to be who we need it, and we have to, don't overdo it because then that's exhausting and that's not your purpose. But don't forget, as you're growing and doing things, to remember where you came from, be humble, but be who you needed. If you're trying to offer a service to somebody, figure out what that problem is and how you can solve that problem for them. And if you can solve it, then you're in there. For my home daycares, it's stressful doing multiple ages. Mixed ages is a really stressful thing. In the state, regardless of what state you're in, they're annoying, and they're disrespectful, and they're ignorant. And I'm sorry if somebody in here works for child care licensing. I don't really like them. I think that they sit behind a desk and they write all these rules that they've never applied. They don't make sense. It's not conducive for us to be there for the kids and do all these things. And so in me contracting with home daycares, I'm being who I needed. I needed an easy done for you type of curriculum. So I do the curriculum. I write my curriculum. My programs that have contracted me, they have stuff to get them through the whole month. They only see me on Tuesdays and Thursdays for an hour live, but they're paying me $880 a month per student to see me on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You know, some of the programs pay less, some of them pay $150 a month, and it depends on what it is that they're needing. Some of them pay $65 a month per student, depending on what it is. I also do, subscription boxes for them and different things. But again, I'm looking for the problem and how I can solve it. And once you figure out how you can solve it and you are comfortable solving those problems but not overdoing it for yourself, then it starts to balance out. I never in a million years thought that I would be able to say, I have a 6-figure income and I'm a single parent. I've exceeded everything that they said I would do. Not only am I a single parent, but I have kids with allergies and asthma and autism and all these things that they said, take them home and love them because that's all we got. My daughter is getting ready to be a part of Beth's high school program so we can start college for her. She wants a degree in liberal arts. She wants to be a language interpreter or something. I don't know. She's going to talk to Beth about it. Something dealing with language. And her reason for that is because, again, she's autistic. She remembers what it felt like to not be able to communicate. And now, because I was who I needed to her, she's able to verbalize to me and say, Mom, that was the scariest time in my life. To have so many things I wanted to say and not have a way to talk to you guys. That's so scary. I never want anybody to be like that. And so, some children with autism, they just over-obsess on certain things. And her over-focus, which is not a bad thing at all, is language. She wants to learn Mandarin, and she's doing classes for Mandarin and Spanish and sign language and Arabic and language. I don't speak those languages. I can do sign language and Spanish and English. And I'm not that great at any of those, but I can do them. But she's learning these things and she's teaching it to herself. She's doing videos and just different classes. Some of you all-stars, she's in some of your language things. She's utilizing those things, so thank you. Thank you for being a part of the family that allows me to keep pushing my kids through, because she's super, super excited to be able to do those things. But again, be who you needed. You know, when you're connecting, if you guys are trying to contract with a center, they're in a class. If you're doing 3-year-olds, it's what some places the ratio is 18 3-year-olds to 1 teacher, and every now and then they'll put another teacher in when the state shows up so they don't get in trouble. Be who you needed. It's overwhelming. How are they going to do all the arts and crafts that are required every day? My program, we pre-cut all that stuff for you. We mail it to you in a box. It's a baggie for each student with their name on it that says, here's what we're doing. And we send you a PowerPoint that says, here's how you do the craft. And if you join us on Tuesdays and Wednesdays for that hour, a lot of times we're going to be doing those crafts. So we do whatever it is that you need, and then we say, okay, well, here's an activity for you to do on Monday, here's an activity for you to do on Wednesday, and here's a couple extra activities if you need things to do on Friday. A lot of my programs do Fun Friday. They don't do anything on Fridays. So, but they have additional things. I encourage some of my home daycares that financially are having things going on to make sure that they utilize their resources. And that was something big when I joined Joy's group that she was talking about, be resourceful. I do sip and paint kits. I have a lot of home daycares that purchase those from me to use them as fundraisers for their programs. I sell them to them at a discounted price, and they turn around and resell them to their families or host their own sip and paint parties and charge each person to make whatever it is that they need to make to do. They do t-shirt sales. They do whatever it is that they need. I'm there for them. So just in contracting with daycares or individual families, just be who you needed. If you are who you needed to be at that time, then you're going to be okay. And then just remember, look for the problem. And if you don't know, if you can't find it, ask them. They're going to tell you because they're stressed, they're overwhelmed. It's not just a magical reason why they just showed up. So have a conversation. What is it that you're needing me to do? What can I alleviate for you? What can I make easier, fun, or interesting? And some of the things are, because of my program, we're virtual, they see me interacting with my kids. They see me correcting them. They see those things. So their teachers are like, oh, is that how she corrects them? Is that how she, oh, so they're getting training on that. And then another fun thing that we're doing is Miss Jelly. On Wednesdays, you guys, Miss Jelly has an online cooking class that my summer camp has connected with. And I have kids that, my summer camp, they can pay for the full week or they can do drop-in days. And so I have 10 full-time spaces left, but I have other spaces that are flexible for kids to be able to drop in on days for field trips and things like that. I have kids that drop in just on Wednesdays and field trip days because they don't want to miss Miss Jelly's cooking class. So if you guys have virtual programs, connect with Miss Jelly so that you guys can do that. It's awesome. The kids love it. She does this amazing dance party at the end, and they have a ball. So that's all I got for you, ladies.